Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you're doing well today. We've got Anaheim 1 in MX Bikes. It's a little bit early, you know, we're about a month ahead of schedule right now. But no, this is a track created by Steezy. And I think he said, like, I've got the number 6 or the number 8 in my head. He's made a fair few tracks at this point. And what this basically is well, it's a replica of Anaheim 1, first of all. But if I zoom in here, you can kind of see these little blurry bits on the edges of the map. So what I believe this is, he's taken the track map that gets posted on like the Supercross website or Instagram, whatever it may be, and he's kind of overlaid it and then built the track on top of that. So in terms of replica, it should be pretty damn spot on. I know that Steezy's tracks are quite wide, and flying around here, I mean, it's very, very wide. We should be carrying a lot of speed everywhere, so we'll see just how big some of the rhythms are. And it gives me... it just kind of makes me think of the old Ride the Track tracks by TFC from back in the day as well, which are always really, really good fun. Like, there was some really big lines on those tracks too. So, I mean, it's here. It's Supercross season, baby. We're all about Supercross right now. And we have an extra little bit of a surprise for you as soon as I get to the track.
For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe.
But when I say surprise, it's nothing massive. I'm on a Suzuki. That's all it is. For whatever reason, last night I was dabbling with a bunch of different bikes because the setup that I have on the KTM 450 at the moment, I like everywhere except the whoops on the aerial test track. So I was just messing around with other bikes, seeing what feels good, what doesn't, and I hopped over onto the Dookie right here. And some of you may know, just based on my preference when it comes to the factory bikes, the Suzuki is my favourite bike to ride, just because of just how the cockpit looks. I think it's a very, very pretty looking bike, and I just love how it feels to ride in general. So I thought I'd try the OEM equivalent out. And for whatever reason, the stock suspension on this Suzuki absolutely destroys the whoops on the aerial test track. I'm not sure what it is, but I can literally go through them, like wait in complete center of the bike and have zero issues whatsoever. It is so good. So I might do a little bit of tweaking on this. That suspension is still stock, but I've made the gearing a little bit shorter just because it feels fairly long to begin with. And then, oh, please downside that well. I have. What's this? Oh, that's a triple. For some reason, I thought it'd be a double. Rest in peace, me. So yeah, I've made the gearing a little bit shorter. What else have I changed? I changed the tyres. That's not quadable. There's not enough lift on that jump at all. I changed the tyres to mid-soft 90 on the front and medium 110 on the rear. I'm still confused on which front tyre to run, if I'm honest, boys. Some tracks, like the medium front tyre, feels good. Other tracks, it feels a little bit too grippy. Like if there's a couple of flat corners, then I think the mid-soft 90 feels better to try and turn tighter. And I just in a bit of a weird spot again in terms of bike setup. I feel like I go through all these stages of feeling good and then going back to feeling absolute garbage and then go back to feeling good again, and hopefully by the time the actual Anaheim 1 track releases and it's race day, we'll go back to feeling good again. But I just, bearing in mind, I've only spent, I really want to get that triple out of there. I think that'd be really satisfying. I've only spent maybe 10-20 minutes on the Suzuki to form this opinion of it. But I liked what I felt. I really did. The thing that feels weird, which I'm sure can be fixed with some geometry changes, is as I go to steer, say I was turning right in that berm there, it feels like the front wheel wants to climb up and out of the berm rather than following the berm around, which again could be down to some geometry stuff, could be down to the tyres I'm using as well. So I'll see if I can mess around with that. I might slide in Aiden's DMs, American Aiden, this one is. Because I've seen a few people asking if American Aiden and UK Aiden were the same person, and no, they're not. They are two very, very different people. Even the name's spelt differently. One's EN, one's AN, but there you go. You know now. I might slide in his DMs, see if I can ask for what setup he's running. He's an avid Suzukier. He loves the old banana bike. He always has done, to be fair. He's been basically maining it for as long as I can remember. And it's nice seeing people that are, I wouldn't say stubborn, because stubborn's not the right word, but committed, so committed to one side of bike that it doesn't matter what the meta is, doesn't matter what anybody else is riding, he's still happy rocking around on the old banana. I think I could potentially step onto that tabletop there. Now you have to bear with me a little bit, because some of you probably already know the layout of this track without even playing it. Like, some of you probably already studied the track maps quite hard. Can I get it this time? Yes, there we go. I, however, I looked at like the first couple of rounds. I can't remember if it was on. I think it might have been on Instagram that it was posted on. And I was like, yeah, you know, the length layouts look fairly cool. And then that's as far as it's gone. I haven't done much more digging into them. So you have to bear with me as I try and learn the track a little bit as well. And I was correct in my my observations when flying around. As it does feel like a steezy track because it's very, very wide. I would say that the width of it does make it quite beginner friendly. I don't think you've got to be amazing at the game to hop on and ride around one of these. I do want to see if I can triple. No, I can't quad here, so I'm going to step over and then step on. Oh, that was nice. That was very, very smooth. So I will say the jumps, they're not the peakiest. They're not the peakiest. They don't send you super, super high, but they are fairly smooth. I feel like the transition from being on the flat ground to the jump face to the takeoff is well done. So you don't get any weird kicks or anything like that. It's quite smooth. You can scrub jumps quite hard if you need to as well. I'm going to scrub this. You can so step onto that. So if I go step on, step off, triple single, I think that might be the move for next lap. The hard part is, whilst talking to you guys, it's always a little bit difficult because my brain's doing two things at once. And I have a very, very small brain. It's only capable of a certain amount of things at one time. It's trying to do a rhythm section, remembering what I want to do next lap, and then by the time I get there next lap, actually doing it. And like, it's stupid. It sounds like it should be quite easy, but sometimes I do struggle. However, I should be over the bars there. I also think you can triple into that sand. I've been doubling, but I didn't even mean to try triple that time, and I was very, very close. So again, next lap, I'm going to try and absolutely send it into there and see what happens. And it's like, I feel like all of CZ tracks are quite beginner friendly. You know, where they are scaled so large, you haven't got to be super, super precise anywhere. And I think because these jumps, like the jump faces, aren't super peaky, the tops of all the jumps are fairly rounded off. So what that means is if you are coming up a little bit short, if you're a goober like me and you can't get all of your time into absolute perfection, if you are coming up short, then... Oh, please survive. I'm a bit sideways there. It's good, I'm fine. Right, hang on, step on. Make it! Oh, I was so close. That's so doable. You know, I think my issue that time is I was too far to the left of the track. So the berm was kind of joining the jump face. The jump face wasn't as steep as it would be if I moved slightly further to the right. Okay. Yeah, the jump faces are quite rolled off, which is nice. If you're coming up short, then a lot of the time you can get away with it and you can ride it away. And that is a combination of the jump faces being forgiven, but then also the OEM bikes being quite forgiving when you overjump things as well. There you go, there's a triple in. And then weird little double again, jump into the corner. Please brake in time. Thank you. I've heard rumours, by the way. Bearing in mind I left the OEM Discord quite a while ago. I have heard rumours that the new bikes are like being worked on, like they're in progress. So I'm quite excited to see what that brings. Speaking to some of the guys at the LAN event, and even just in Discord outside of the LAN event as well, it seems like the issues that are being addressed really is just the bad front end wobble that you get going around some of these corners, just like that there. You saw a little twitch coming out of it. That's being looked into, and then I believe there might be some traction changes coming in regards to those medium tyres, because I don't believe they ever intended them to be as OP as they are. So that's some exciting stuff to look forwards to. Oh, mug. This jump is going to do my absolute head in. And I kind of want to go to the start of the whoops and set a marker just so I can try and hit this. You know what? I don't care. We're doing it. Right, marker goes down here. There we go. That's like ages. I don't know why it took so long. Right, marker set. So the first thing we need to do is actually get a good run through the whoops. And then hopefully end up on the left side of the track. That didn't happen. Let's take number 2. Right, so... that marker took ages to place. I mean, that's the first thing I have to do is get a good run through the whoops and be on the left side of the track. And I'm too high again. Okay, right. That track marker took a long time to place. Right, let's go through the whoops. You need a really good run to hopefully end up on the left side of the track. Please not again. Please not third time in a row. Oh, no. Oh, there's a little hump there. But just to the left of that inside roller, there's a little high bit that actually messes up your trajectory. If I go, oh, that's better. Please. Yes, there we go. So no, you actually, far left does seem to be better than going slightly right, because where that inside roller is, it kind of, it leaves a little bit of a hump just to the left-hand side of the roller. So unless you're far left of the track, you kind of hit it and it messes up your trajectory on the face of the jump. So there you go. It's good to read the track sometimes. It only took me like 4 attempts plus the other 4 or 5 laps that I've done on the track so far. I've just headbutted my microphone with my hat. Thank you very much. So there you go. 10 attempts to get one simple step onto a tabletop. Oh, this Supercross season is going to be interesting for me. It really, really is. So I feel like I get to say this every now and then. It's quite rare this happens, but I think this is a good example of beginner Supercross tracks. Everybody wants them. There's not many of them out there because true Supercross in terms of the scaling is very difficult. There is no real easy Supercross tracks. However, this one, because it's so wide, because the jumps are quite rolled off and the berms are huge, you know, there's lots of room in the berms, I would actually say if you want to just get started in Supercross, go for it. I wouldn't necessarily say it's the best like kind of style of track in the world to practice for the actual aerial Supercross season, because the scaling is just going to be so much different to what we're actually riding. It's crazy. But I do think this appeals to kind of like the beginner / intermediate level riders that maybe they find normal Supercross a little bit too difficult, so they want something to ease themselves into it. I think this will give you a good sense of, you know, trying to just time your rhythm sections, really, and there's a lot of wiggle room in these rhythms too, which is great. And there's some different line variation. There's some doubles, there's some triples. I don't know if I've seen any quads yet, but that could just be down to a skill issue right now and not having enough laps spun on the track. So by all means, give it a download. It is free. It's on MXB Mods, and I don't know if Steezy has the intention of releasing all of these. I feel like that's a little bit of a big ask to do. Like, that's a lot of effort to release all 17 rounds. So if he doesn't, if this is a one and done thing, then give yourself a little pat on the back, my man. I think this is your first Supercross track, at least in my memory. I don't think I've seen any others. It's all been Nationals tracks so far. I am not doing it very much justice this last like 2 laps or so. I'm crashing all over the place, so I do apologise. Sometimes we just have a bad MX Bikes days, which I can't really do much about, unfortunately. But you know what? Short and sweet video. Quite a short one today, but there's when it comes to Supercross tracks, if there's no like real massive difficult lines that you're struggling to get, then there's only so much you can do on it. I do want to say the whoops on this track fairly easy. I mean, again, stock Suzuki suspension. I think it might be a bit OP anyway, to be fair, the stock Suzuki suspension in whoops, because like I said at the beginning, I was having a fairly easy time getting through the aerial test track whoops as well, which I'll show you a little clip of right now, actually. I'm going to load up the track, and with power editing, I'll give you my very, very first attempt going through that whoop section. We're going to prove this isn't cap as well by doing it live from the loading screen all the way through to the whoops. So no one's like, oh, you clipped it out, you cut it. So I've got my suspension on. If I go to suspension here, default, completely stock. I've just changed the drivetrain a little bit to make it a little bit like the shorter gearing. I put on the Yoshi mapping to make it a bit more aggressive, and then just tyres that I've messed about with. So we go to the track. We're going to make a little beeline through here, get our little transfer on, step over. Can't get the triple. There's some nice lines you can do through here if you jump on there from the berm. But then we're going to scrub into our corner. We're going to double, and then double over the finish line, flatland the finish line. This could mess me up for the whoops, actually. Right, so get a good run off the Dragon's Back, which we did, and then through the whoop-de-doos, and no problem at all. It absolutely munches them. So I'm vibing with the banana bike. I really, really am. It feels nice. It's definitely not got that same like raw speed as the KTM does, for example. My lap time so far around here is only like a low 58, and I know there's people running like 55. So I've seen I think it was a 54 from Cam, which is just gross. So I know I'm not quite there in terms of raw lap speed, but you know what? It might come. It might come eventually when I spend enough time on this bike. Getting a little bit swappy, but it's still saved its way through that whoops. Get a little step on, so it's a very, very capable machine. So if you don't want to kind of follow the crowd for the time being, if you're fed up of seeing a sea full of orange, even though I do believe it's still the best bike at the moment, then maybe give the Dookie a go. I've just showed you right there, straight away from spawning in, that you don't need to do anything wild to the setup to make it work. And I think that'll do it from me. So Steezy, well done. Very, very good track. Very good for the beginners, the more casual players. I would definitely recommend that. And again, completely free on MXB Mods, which everybody loves. That's always a big W. And I am going to love you and leave you. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. I would greatly appreciate it. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to. I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.